tried to drag me across the world to blame me for your failures? Get left high and dry. Drag me another country to fix your problems, then try to blame me for them? Get left high and dry. This is unfolding basically in real time, but we're near the end of the story now. This story is a bit technical in nature, but I've tried to spare as many details as possible. My company does industrial software globally, which involves multiple modules interacting with physical processes. Projects often involve installation and testing locally, but my team's part is able to be deployed and tested about 90% remotely. There was one project in North America where my team's software was deployed months ago, and we've only had to deal with fairly minor bugs since then. However, the project overall is running hella late, and the local team is struggling hard. So 3 weeks ago, they asked me to fly out about halfway across the world to help fix it while I finish off that last 10%. I arrive and find that the other key software module in the system barely works, but the people on site who are supposed to be working on it instead of knuckling down and fixing it have basically been blaming everything else. Talking to the other team members, these guys have me spent the past month blaming the mechanical and electrical designers, fitters, and technicians, often without real basis. When I arrive, they seem happy that I'm here to help fix things, but about a week later, shocked to nobody, they start trying to blame me for their problems as well. I tolerate this for about a week. Explaining to them how the system should work, I was a key designer, collecting logs and evidence of the problems and performing root cause analyses to help them locate the problem with their code. It doesn't stop them from trying, but it keeps my hands clean and makes progress to me going home. Then last Friday, I get a baffling email from the group of them. Apparently, they had met at a time where the project manager knew I was not available and constructed an elaborate theory about how the software I was responsible for was doing the wrong thing and convinced the PM, who is non-technical, into backing them. In a call to discuss it, I was told by the PM that I was responsible for collaborating with the team to fix this issue, which had resulted in delays to project milestones. I try to explain my side but get shouted down in the call. I experience a very powerful moment of clarity about what is happening and immediately change my strategy. That shift, I explain again that I consider the issue to be unlikely and demand to see hard evidence backing this claim. They cannot produce anything beyond the data at this breakpoint isn't what it should be, which I explain is not conclusive as it could still be the fault of their code. I then spend half the shift trying to replicate the problem and capturing network traffic logs between the two systems, the interface where these systems interact, but no matter how hard I try, I cannot replicate it. Instead of delivering it just to them as I had been, I copy in my management back home all the way to the top, along with a paper trail explaining showing how I had been blindsided, demanded to fix a problem that could not be traced to my area of responsibility. All without evidence, and documented names and exactly how much time had been wasted. It turns out I'm not alone. Some privately reach out to me asking for more details, explaining that they are seeing a similar thing unfolding on a different project run by members of the same team. I happily oblige. In the middle of the shift, I explain this in clear terms to them, and they lose their shit, denying what they had done, backtracking, trying to blame me some more. One looked like they might start crying. The next day, I send a formal letter to HR back home, withdrawing my consent to be there with all the legalese referencing my employment agreement and specific legal statutes and explaining that among other reasons, this had become an unsafe and uncollaborative work environment. They agree without any fuss, and I start planning to return. The PM loses their shit and almost begs me to stay because it means that I will not be present for the client sign-off, and there are still things to be fixed, and the likelihood of this local team fixing them themselves is next to zero. I leave tomorrow and testing starts the following day. Normally this would be unfathomable, but at this point I have enough evidence that I'm basically untouchable. I am both impressed and disgusted by the audacity of this team, but they fucked with the wrong person and just landed themselves an even bigger world of pain. TL, doctor. Failing team drags me to site so they can have another person to blame for their problems. I ensured that it backfired in their face, and now they're in this shit with nobody left willing to help them.